which I think is the most underutilized strategy that I wish I started doing sooner. I even call it a hack. You ever spent hours streaming, prepping inventory, hyping up giveaways, all that to walk away with only 2 sales and like a bruised ego? I've been there. But then I cracked the code, and I'm giving you the exact same 10 steps that I used to get to my first 1,000 sales even faster than I thought was possible. I'm Mike DeFrancesca, aka PMM, founder of PokeMasterMates, and I use Whatnot to grow my TCG business from scratch to over 100,000 in sales within the first year. Now I help sellers like you skip the trial and error, implement systems and strategies, and get results faster. Why is everyone's goal always to get 1,000 sales when they start on Whatnot? And the answer to that is several things, but mainly it's your money. You get access to Whatnot's early buyer payout program, which in turn almost allows you to get your payouts immediately. And that allows you to reinvest into your business and grow faster rather than having to wait for packages to be delivered plus a waiting period. So we're going to go ahead and get started and run through these 10 steps really quick. I'm just going to talk about some key points here. If you want, you can grab this 10-step guide that I do have. You can find it in the description below, or I'll probably put like a QR code or something like that up here. Grab it, and it has a lot more details as to how these steps work and how you can implement them for yourself. Now, step 1 is going to be using your titles and thumbnails to grab attention and get them to click on your stream. Now, to do this, you want to use this high converting title formula for your stream names, and that's going to be using this action, product, and urgency or benefit. You put those together, throw some emojis in there, some power words, and you're more than likely to get somebody's attention, especially when you include a nice attention-grabbing thumbnail to go along with it. A couple examples that we see here is like got the fire emoji, in case some fire stuff going on in here, right? Live now, surprise sets, $5 starts, and giveies every 5 minutes. The next one you see is the alert, grabs attention immediately. $1 auctions, that's an eye grabber. Journey together, especially when you're talking about a brand new set, and free shipping. Everybody loves free shipping, especially on Whatnot. You want to use this formula when coming up with the titles for your streams to be able to grab people's attention right away. We've got a list of some examples here of like the power words you see here, like free, exclusive, last chance, big win, start, or dollar starts. These are words you want to use to like create urgency, grab attention, and pique curiosity in order to get people to actually think about what is going on inside this stream. So go ahead, use this formula, get a combination of power words, emojis, titles that you can put together that will work for you and your streams, especially if you're in a different category than TCG. The next part is going to be the thumbnail. These are together because it's kind of a combination deal, right? It's just like social media. You're going to see the thumbnail, it's going to grab your attention, you're going to read the title, and then you're going to make that instant decision if you're going to click into this stream or not. Again, with the thumbnail, same thing. You have like milliseconds really to grab somebody's attention. You can see I got this checklist here, and you just want to kind of implement these in your thumbnail so as to not distract the person who's seeing the thumbnail, because again, they're only going to look at this for a second, right? And it's something that's got to stop them from wanting to swipe away or to keep scrolling away. So you have things that are really bold letters that maybe highlight some of the features of your stream, like free giveaways or $1 starts or new sets, something like that, promo codes, right? And you also want to use high contrast colors to make those things pop. Let's look at the Journey Together example. I think that's one of the better thumbnails that I've created recently for my streams, and I feel like I did get an amazing turnout on that. And I also did use a little trick that no one really does use, which is the video thumbnail previews, which I'll talk about that here in a second. You can see we got use code Journey, $5 off for $10 purchase or more, right? Featured the buyer's giveies up top, and this is the on release day for Journey Together. So obviously I'm giving away an elite trainer box and some packs and some other Journey products. So having that buyer's givey up there, which kind of implies that these are going to be buyer's giveys, it really grabs that attention, especially with how demand is for these sets and the supply that is limited out there. And to note, you can see the colors that I use there, right? We got a little bit of a darker background related to the Pokemon Journey Together theme, and these are bright colors that make it stand out from the background. The same thing with the $5 starts down here, and everything is kind of cohesive as far as like the colors and the scheme that's all set up. It's all related to the Journey Together theme, and so it's just attention grabbing. When you're scrolling through, you're going to see the ETBs and the Journey Together, which is going to grab your attention. You see the buyer's giveies immediately stand out, and then you're automatically going to look at that Journey Together coupon code and be like, hold on, let me see what's going on in here, or at least let me look at the title and see what's going on. And if you have that good title like you had, then that's going to really make somebody get curious or pique some interest, especially if they're having a hard time finding the set. Put thought into your thumbnails when you're putting them together. Throw what you think is going to be an eye grabber and make people want to click. because it doesn't matter how amazing your stream is if you can't get people to click inside to get a preview of what's going on. Now, like I mentioned, the video preview that you can use as an alternate thumbnail is something I almost never see anybody do. And I did use a video that was very attention grabbing. I was also my video that I can use to post this content to get people from social media to come over and check out Whatnot. I basically just started off the video with, if you don't like free shit, keep swiping, because I'm giving away this Journey ETB for free. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm giving away this sealed Journey Together ETB along with the Zation collection box and some booster packs and maybe a couple other things on Thursday night stream. We're doing $5 sudden death starts, and don't forget to use code Journey to get $5 off a purchase of 10 or more. It's got to be short, to the point, let them know what they're getting out of this. So if people see that, you immediately grab their attention with the hook, show them what they're going to get out of it, use the call to action to get them inside the stream. I do not see a lot of people doing this, but it does work. Now, getting them to click is just the first part. Once you get them in, the goal is to get the instant engagement. That's going to lead to higher conversions and retention. So if somebody comes in, yo, what's up, homie? Welcome in, blah, 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 blah. Or, hey, Poke Joe, got this ETB we're giving away. Make sure you stick around. Whatever the case is. Typically start the streams with different types of polls, gets the chat engagement going, helps with the algorithm, and then they feel like they're getting into something right away, like an engaged conversation. And there's so many things going on that they just feel like they want to be involved in it. They get the FOMO. What am I missing out on here? Why is it so hype in here, right? So you want to get that engagement going right away. Talk about what you got going on. Got these $1 auctions. We're going to be running these slabs later on today. I'm giving away this free ETB. Get their attention. Let them know you have something going on, and then follow through on that and keep that energy and that movement going. The last part I'm going to say about this is going to be kind of lead us segue into the next step, or step 3, which is if you can get people to stop the swipe, it starts to tell the algorithm you have something interesting going on. Because every step of the way, it's telling the algorithm what is happening, right? It's gathering that data. They stop, they click it. That's like a bonus point, right? People join the chat. They're sticking around for a little bit. They start chatting. That's going to go ahead and tell the algorithm there's something interesting going on, maybe something fun here. And so it will test it by pushing it out to a few more people to see if they get the same reaction that you got from these recent people who joined your stream. So that leads us into step 3 of creating a successful Whatnot stream, the chat activation method. You have people in your chat going back and forth talking. Maybe there's some funny stuff going on. You're going along with the chat, like, you know, making it like a personable experience. So when people join and they see everybody's having a good time, their chat is flying, they're like, yo, it's popping off in here. One of the things I like to do is throw out questions out there, or if the conversation leads to something kind of like not a controversial, but a debatable topic, and something that's not going to be heavy, right? Definitely do not ever talk about like politics, religion, stuff like that, because that's bound to lead to a bad place. But something like, who's the real GOAT, Charizard or Pikachu? Or what's a better anime? You prefer Dragon Ball Z, One Piece? You can even use that in a poll. The point is to get people talking, get the chat engaged, auctions being sold, there's people scrolling through, they're getting stopped, they're coming in, they're engaging, they're voting on the polls. It's going to tell the algorithm there's something that is happening and working in this stream, and we want to push this to more people. You can also do things like what I have here, right? You can do some milestone challenges, right? Like, yo, if we get 50 viewers, I'm going to go ahead and throw this box up for sale, or I'm going to run this slab at a 10% discount. I'm going to activate some fire sales. If you do have like a good product that you're willing to sell at a discounted rate, and you say, yo, we're at like 35 viewers. If we get 50 viewers in here, I'm going to go ahead and run this at, $10 or whatever it is, whatever you can afford. Don't give away anything crazy. That will get people liking the stream, sharing the stream. Again, more activation, more shares. It's going to tell the algorithm there's something going on in here. Step 4, psychology of a $1 auction that boosts engagement without burning your profit. What I mean by that is using $1 auctions strategically. Use this to grab new buyers' attention and give them a reason or something they want to bid on. You don't want to just go through and burn through all of your stuff. There's some examples here, right? It talks about why this is a good thing and the risk behind it. Now, I'm going to say this up front. If you can't afford to run anything at $1, right? If you don't have anything that you can afford to run at $1, do not run it at $1. I don't want people to say, well,
PMM told me, if I ran it at $1, I'll get new buyers.
No, it's not the case. Use it strategically. And if you can, just run it at a price that you feel comfortable with, right? If you have packs that you can maybe run at $2 or $3, right? And start them there, then do that. Now, if you're willing to maybe take the risk on a couple of things to test and trial, and if you feel there's a good vibe, give it a shot, try it out. But the reason you don't want things to go for $1 here, as you can see, I have the example here, is selling things at $1, almost no matter what it is a loss. Even if it is a 50-cent card you're running. Do this strategically. Think about what you're doing. If you got 2 people in there that are just not really talking, they're just kind of watching, don't run things at $1, right? find a reason to get people to stay first. And then if they're looking for stuff or a good deal, you can say, hey, look, there's 5 of us in here. If you guys get 5 more people in here, I'll start running some of these cards at $1, $2, whatever it is. There's some caveats with that. You can read through this. You know, you don't want to use high margin things. You want to make sure you save those to be able to make up margins later. We're going to talk about loss leader sales in a couple of steps here, which is doing things purposely at a loss to get the buyer in. Then they can spend more money in the long term. For right now, you want to read through this carefully. Make sure you know what you're doing and you're not just throwing stuff away. And if you try something and it doesn't work, don't keep doing it. Like, I mean, I know that seems pretty straightforward and common sense, but you'll be surprised. There's some tips to be able to help you go through with this, right? Like set a daily loss limit. You're only going to run $1 auctions 10 times per stream. If you're okay with doing that, because you have to keep in mind, there's chances that things are not going to get bid on. And if something goes for $1, you can't be upset about it. Go into these streams and they run things at $1, $2, and they're complaining that it's not going for the price that they hoped it would go for. That's on you as a seller. I'm sorry to say, it's on you as a seller. So just keep that in mind. Read through some of this stuff on here. It will help guide you through using $1 auction starts strategically. And if they work for you and then it becomes a thing, you can do it all the time, right? There we have somebody inside our TSU program. He's running like quick fire $1 starts back to back to back, and they're working. It keeps working. You're going to keep doing it, right? Just keep an eye on things and make sure you're not taking a loss. Now, one of the things you can do that we're going to talk about here in step 5, seller stack items, or like build your own bundles and things where people can come in, and if you are running like $1 auctions, you can say, well, you know, I'm going to run these cards, and every 3 extra bucks I'm going to throw another card on, and people can get nice little stacks. Or you can fan out your cards, let people go through, make little piles for people, and then run them all at once. You'll save on the transaction fees because there's 30 cents per transaction fee. So it's better than just running them one by one. Now, if your goal is to try to get that 1,000 sales as fast as possible, you can run them one by one, but just be aware that you're going to take 30-cent hit on each transaction. 10 transactions versus one, at 30 cents, 270 difference versus, 30 cents, right? So plan everything out and be strategic with it. Just find ways to keep it engaged, create bundles, stack items, do things that will give a higher perceived value to somebody versus just taking those losses back to back to back. Same thing like using price anchors, right? If you have a, PSA 10 Pikachu or something that's, market price of $150, maybe you paid $20 and you're willing to take $70, $80, 90, whatever the case is, show that. Put that in there, market price, current market price, $150, today only, $75, or run flash sales or fire sales, whatever, flash sales, run flash sales so that people could see, oh my goodness, this is half off right now, right? You give people that sense of urgency and it excites them and it's an attention grabber. And it's going to attract buyers because you are offering good deals and you're creating some excitement around it and you keep the stream going, right? And everybody's having a good time. You get the point, right? If you're trying to sell things for a lower price, use just different tactics than just $1 starts. Step 6 to creating a successful Whatnot stream, turn your buyers into superfans. Actually, a strategy that I have done just by treating my community great and making them feel, appreciated and valued, because they are, right? At the end of the day, you do not have a business without customers. So you need to reciprocate that appreciation, especially for the people who are super fans, right? Because these people are the ones who are going to help you take your business to the next level. These are people who are going to be there at every stream. They're going to word of mouth. They're going to talk about you to other people. They're going to tag their friends to come in. I have 2 homies. They found me when I was doing a Funko stream, but they enjoyed the community. They enjoyed the vibe so much. They're there at every single stream. Now, whether they're buying or not, it doesn't matter. They're spreading the good vibes. They're helping mod. And when they do spend, they spend good money. They're going to help you curate a fantastic community, and they're going to help you grow, and they're going to grow with you. And so make sure you're showing not only all your community appreciation, but these super fans, this is a term I got from Pat Flynn in his book, make sure you show them especially how appreciated they are. Whether that's giving them a free gift here and there, offering some type of VIP program or some discounts for them, and this is outside the rewards club, even shouting them out and telling them you appreciate them, right? Like I constantly be like, I definitely appreciate you guys, right? Like always hanging out with me, doing this, purchasing, even if, I recognize that they're buying stuff, even though they don't collect the things that I'm selling, right? And it's not because they're just bored. Well, probably, maybe, I don't know what they have going on, but it's because they want to show support. And they don't have to do that. Make sure you show them that you see them, right? And appreciate that. And even when you get to the top, you should show more appreciation. Don't just abandon them for new people. This is something I've been doing since day one. I'm all about the customers, community, experience, integrity. I never realized that I was doing that And then once I read this book by Pat Flynn, which I strongly recommend, I'll put a link in the bio below to get this book. Pat Flynn, if you don't know, great entrepreneur, and he recently, a couple years ago, started his own Pokemon TCG business. It's a passion of his, so he started a business, and he did write this book about Superfans, and it kind of just breaks down what they are, how valuable they are. I would highly recommend this book. You can actually see right here, the easy way to stand out, grow your tribe, and build a successful business. It's just about treating people the right way and showing them you appreciate them, because at the end of the day, you don't have a business without customers. And if you're not treating your customers right, you're not going to grow, and they're going to eventually leave. Make sure you show them that appreciation and do it on a consistent basis. Now, I do have a quote from Pat Flynn in here that I do want to recognize. I do appreciate him. You can follow him on YouTube too. He has a great YouTube channel for entrepreneurs to help get you started. But his quote here is, "You don't need to change the world. You just need to change someone's world. And if you do that enough, the world changes." And it's true. I've had people tell me, I completely made their day, right? Whether it's giving them a good deal, just having a good time in the stream, or just appreciating them. And on the other side of the phone or the computer, whatever it is, you never know what type of day people are having. And sometimes it's something that simple, just recognizing somebody and showing them that appreciation, or giving them, a good experience. I strongly recommend you make your business centered around your community, or at least around your customers and their experience, because again, you don't have a business without customers. Now we're going to throw in a little real talk from PMM. Now, if you followed steps 1 through 5 that we already talked about and you got here, you hooked them in with the title and thumbnail, you kept them engaged, and you added value with, however you add the value. It's all setting the stage to turn them into a long-term customer. Not everybody's having these types of streams. Not everybody's showing people a good time. Not everybody's appreciating those people. And so you have one quote from me that I put in here, which is, "Some of my biggest fans didn't come for the product. They came for the experience. They stayed because they felt seen, valued, and part of something bigger than a sale." I've had people that never buy a thing, but they provide value to the community, they provide value to the chat, to the algorithm, whatever it is. And also, if you're starting out, there's a good chance you have almost no one in your stream. So if that is the case, trust me, having 1 or 2 people just hanging out with you is better than just sitting there alone. Definitely treat every person that joins your stream as a VIP. And if they become a super fan, treat them better than a VIP. There's a whole breakdown in here about what makes a super fan and whatnot, strategies to keep them engaged, things you can do for them. So definitely go through that. Take a look. I personally think this is one of the better steps, and it lays a great foundation for your business as it grows. If you followed everything now, you probably have a good momentum going. You got a nice little community going. Give people something to come back for. Give people something to look forward to. So step 7, to build your successful Whatnot stream, build a consistent show schedule. Even if you're not ready or you don't feel you're ready. If you're streaming, let's say even 3-4 times a week, make one of those streams a consistent scheduled stream, right? Everything else can be fluid, but you want somebody to be able to look forward to and know that you're going to be there. It's like watching, I'm going to feel old with everybody who's probably watching this, but it's like before we had on demand and, and Netflix and all that stuff, right? Show comes out, Friday at 4. If you're loving that show and you're a fan of that show, you're going to be there at 4 to watch it. You're not going to let anything, unless it's an emergency, interrupt that. Give people something to look forward to. Some of the reasons this work, right? Consistency equals trust. Viewer retention. Like I said, if people know you're sticking to a schedule, even if it's just that one stream, they're more than likely to show up every time. He's going to go live Friday at 7 p.m. They're going to be ready by 7 p.m. If they love your show and they love being in there, they'll be ready at 7 p.m. Trust me. If you have that instant engagement when your show goes live, so every Friday, 7 p.m. you got all the homies who jump in. Let's say just 10 homies who immediately join in the first few minutes, and you already got sales going, and the chat is already popping off. Guess what? We haven't talked about this in a while. Is going to grab the algorithm's attention and say, this guy just started up. There's 10 people in there, 20 people, whatever it is, and it's going right away. The algorithm's going to pick that up, push it out to a few more people, see how that goes. And if the performance goes well, they keep pushing it to more and more. And so doing all of this right is going to get that momentum you need to really push you up on that algorithm. And once you get pushed up on that algorithm, I swear to you, it's going to be like day and night. I remember when I first started figuring this stuff out, I would have 10, 15 people, maybe 20 people, on a good stream and just hanging out. And after a couple weeks of doing a consistent schedule, it was on my free shipping Friday show, but it was like the 3rd week I started on time, and there was just a bunch of people who joined in. From that stream forward, every Friday when I started, it started with the homies, and within 20 minutes, maybe tops, there was 50, 60 people in there, and I literally doubled my sales revenue for that stream. So keep it consistent and use all of these steps and you'll see it happen. I promise you'll see it happen. It happens like that. It really is just like a light switch being turned on. This is what works, right? But you have to get everything right. You have to give people a reason to stay. You have to get them there in the first place, and you have to be consistent. You do these things and you are on the road. Trust me. This has everything you need in here and just kind of goes a little bit deeper on some of the stuff I'm talking about. Like I mentioned earlier when we're talking about $1 auctions, step 8 to the growth is starting to introduce loss leader methods. Doing things like starting something at a crazy deal, right? At maybe $1, starting a crazy slab or a box of ETB, whatever it is you sell at $1 start. The whole point of this is to get people in and you convert them into long-term customers by doing everything the right way, like we said, and keep them coming back, increase your LTV, long-term value. And this would just be considered part of your CAC, your customer acquisition cost. We'll go into that later when I do a workshop for more business insights and in-depth kind of strategies. But basically, customer acquisition cost, what does it cost you to get a customer? You know, doing things like giveaways and running loss leaders and promotions on the stream. These are costs that you incur to acquire new customers. And your LTV is what's the long-term value are you going to get out of that customer. So a loss leader is one of those methods you can use to get more customers in, but it doesn't only have to be something that goes against your customer acquisition cost. You can use these as a stepping stone to maybe pair other items with, right? Do upsells, get attention from it. If you're promoting a free ETB giveaway, let's say for a brand new set that's hard to get or is crazy priced, it's going to get a lot of people coming in, and you're going to also create a lot of FOMO. People who are going to be like, I want to see if I can win this, right? Fear of missing out. So use these strategically, but do not hurt your pockets with this, please. And then again, you can use that to maybe upsell. You got that Charizard for this much. How about, you get this Blastoise and I'll take off another 10%, and basically something with a higher margin. So you're still making a little bit of money on that. You're basically using that to acquire these new customers. I mean, this is something all businesses use. It's not really talked about, but it is just a standard in business. When you see stores having retail sales, or especially when you think about something like a bar, right? Bars promote heavy on like $3 beer night. Those are lower margin items that they use at a sale that also cost them less to get you in the door, but then they make higher margins on like mixed drinks and shots. And so those are their loss leaders. This is commonly used practice. It's just not talked about as much. And you want to apply these principles that have been working forever for all types of industries. Some are losses, some are wins, but on average, they're making money and they're getting new customers, especially if you provide them an astounding experience. Whew, I kind of went in on that one. Loss leader, red flags, again, like with the $1 auctions. If you're not seeing it working the right way, if you're bleeding money, if you're not doing it, if it's not working or having a benefit, any type of benefit to it, don't keep doing it. Find another strategy around it. Find a different way to promote it. Do different types of loss leaders and only test run a couple at a time to see if it works. Test it, try it, analyze. And once you have a system that works, then you can do that consistently. All right, we're going to move on to step number 9. The last thing we're going to talk about after this is a strategy I've recently really started taking advantage of, and I honestly regret not doing it sooner. It's going to pair well with social media, and you'll see what I'm talking about here just in a minute. If you haven't already, you should start definitely utilizing step number 9, which is think social first, not just whatnot. And people have given me a lot of slack about this opinion, which is you can't really grow just being on whatnot. And I'll change that a little bit, because you can grow, but you have to be really, really active on whatnot, right? I've seen people who do it, and it's a lot of work. You got to be active in those streams, not just showing up and buying stuff, right? Like if you're showing up and you're bringing a good vibe, if you're modding for people, if you're being really engaging, if you're comping prices for people, when people see you active in a stream, they start to follow you, right? Especially if they know you're a seller. And outside of your phone dying half the damn time, because for whatever reason, whatnot drains your battery, there's a cap, right? There's only so much time you can spend in a stream or in different streams. There's only so much time in a day you can be on the app itself. And it's more of a one to a small group type of communication versus social media is like one to many, right? Like this video could reach however many people and they'll be like, hey, let me go check out what that stream is about. If you're able to, why not bring warm traffic to your stream? If people are seeing you on social media, putting clips out, videos, and they're feeling you, they're more likely to come to your stream. In sales, you have to build a like, know, trust factor before people will actually want to buy from you. People are weary when going into new streams. And so if they don't know you already, it's going to be harder to convert them into a buyer. Now, if you are posting content, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy, you can do, pack hits, packaging your orders, shipping them out, just behind the scenes of you doing stuff, preparing for your stream, people start to get either curious about you or they catch a vibe and they're like, I'm going to check this person out. And in sales, they'll typically call that like a warm lead. These are people who are already familiar with your brand and, they kind of like what you have going on. They feel like they've gotten to know you a little bit and they want to come check you out. If you're bringing people to your stream who already are familiar with you and you're doing everything else right and they see the community you have going on, there's a good chance they're going to buy something from you. Hell, there's a good chance they'll be a super fan, right? Because they're already interested in either your vibe or your stream. If they commented like on, let's say, TikTok, and they're like, oh dude, hell yeah, I'm going to be at your next stream. And then you see them join, like, yo, he fucking came, get all hype, man. Hype them up. Yo, everybody, this is whatever. That's almost instant, like, you're welcoming them into your community. They're not going anywhere else. They're there to see you. Not everybody is already on Whatnot, right? Or not everybody is already in your category. By putting yourself out there, it starts to give people that trust that they need or that kind of comfort level that they need to entertain the aspect of purchasing from someone else they don't know. I do have a how to grow your Whatnot on social media presentation that I do every so often in our Discord. So if you do want to jump in on that, go ahead and just leave a comment or join the Discord via the link in my description. Here are some ideas of what you can do, some example posting schedules. So right, talking about show proof, post clips of the bangers you hit, show people that you got those hot hands, right? You're hitting them, right? And you got credibility, right? It shows people trust you enough to let you rip cards for them. Show them exclusive deals, maybe discounts. Create a discount for your show that's like, hey, code TikTok gets you 5% off on your first purchase with me. So if they join and if they're not already a Whatnot customer, they're going to join your stream. They're going to give you the referral credit and they're going to use that coupon. Plus they get the buyer credit. So it's, it's a win-win behind the scenes. I love showing my packaging. I have astounding, pristine packaging that I get complimented about all the time. That's something that builds that trust. So there's just different reasons and ways you can go about it, and all you're really doing is just putting clips up of things you already do. So it's not that much extra work. If you're not that familiar with social media, yeah, you might have to learn a little bit, but bringing your own traffic is going to help you grow, and it's automatically going to bring you almost loyal customers. Unless you're doing something wrong, those people, especially if they're new to Whatnot, are not going to want to go anywhere else to another stream. Keep that in mind. If you're bringing your own customers, you're growing your customer base and not out of the existing pool of customers where there's already, 10 other people that you're competing for their time with. And it's one of the fastest ways to grow any business. It automatically gives you that credibility. It's just, to me, it's just so logical, but a lot of people are just against it or they don't think it's worth the time. Right here, just a recommended post schedule. And I know it seems like a lot, but these can all be repurposed video. Like, I don't make a video for each platform for every day, right? Like, if I make a short form video, I take it and maybe tweak it a little bit here and there and I post it across different platforms. If I make a long form YouTube content, that's something I've been doing a lot lately. I go ahead and I take that and I get about 10 different, 5-10 different clips from that I can then schedule to be posted across all those platforms throughout the week. It's going to be a little bit of extra work, but the return on investment is crazy, especially because you're not paying for this. This is like advertising for free. And that kind of leads perfectly into step 10, which I think is the most underutilized strategy that I wish I started doing sooner. I even call it a hack. If you pair this with social media, it is going to grow your business on autopilot almost 24/7. I literally wake up every day and I have at least 2 new people who have joined Whatnot from finding one video I did like a year ago. It's a win-win-win. You get a new buyer to come in, you get automatic follow, you are shown in their featured section for 7 days. So if you're streaming on a consistent schedule, even if it's once a week, they will see you featured. And you are the recognizable person that brought them in. So if they're new to Whatnot, odds are they probably don't know any other streamers. So when they see you on that featured list, they're like, hey, that's the guy I followed from TikTok because of whatever reason. And then you also get a referral credit of $5. I don't know. It's something that I wish I would have been more intentional about lately, as I've been really focusing on growing the PMM stuff for TSU. This has just been crazy. Every day I'm getting $5, $10, $15, $20 in buyer's credits that I can then also use to reinvest, right? This is money that's not coming out of my pocket. I can go into another stream and I can gift a couple things to people. I could go and buy an ETB that I can then use for a giveaway. There's just so many benefits to it, and it's like an exponential hack to grow, right? And reinvest back into your business. I suggest from day one, if you decide to go on social media, make a short form video. Hey, are you thinking about going on Whatnot? Use my link and you can get $15 credit after you make your first purchase. Check out the link in bio, whatever. Take that video, post it out there, and pin it to all your social medias. Put it everywhere, right? You got a website, put that shit on your website. Every package you have that's maybe not from Whatnot, you sell on TCG Player, eBay. I don't have any cards with me, but a little thank you card that has a QR code. They scan the QR code, takes them to my link in bio. The first thing up there is, you're thinking about purchasing on Whatnot, click here for $15 buyer credit. Put that on there. Put it in your Discord. If you got a Discord community, put it in your Discord community. If you're sending stuff to people you're already selling on Whatnot, you can put one of those things in there. Hey, you love my stream, you enjoyed the deals. If you don't mind, have your friend sign up with this and give them a $15 credit to buy. I cannot stress how much of a return on investment this strategy is, and almost no one fucking does it. Now that is step number 10, but I do have some bonus stuff in here. So if you are ready for more, go ahead, make sure you download this book. I'm gonna have another guide that is more advanced strategies. Leave a comment with your questions, or better yet, jump in the Discord. Do me a favor, if you did find any value in this, drop a like on the video,